Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching yet another episode of Lima Shenanigans of 1977. It's Friday night, and you know what that means. It's time for the SmackDown NXT Level Up Event Center. And here's the man that lays all the SmackDown in the wrestling reports himself, Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode 1229. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful Saturday afternoon. February 24th, 2024, 3:39 p.m., another end of the final full week of February. As you know, next weekend will start March. Baseball season technically is starting. Not the regular season, but spring training season is. And the Red Sox did beat Northeastern yesterday in the traditional college versus pros game, 7-2. But they lost on a walk-off in the Grapefruit League opening to the Baltimore Orioles, 4-3. That's right, Baltimore Orioles hit a two-run homer to beat the Red Sox. But it's spring training. Don't worry about it. I know expectations are pretty low for this coming season, but like I said, it'd be very interesting to see what actually happens, because you never know. Some things could change here. As you know, a small market team like the Texas Rangers won a World Series, so we'll see what happens. So let's talk about SmackDown. What happened on SmackDown last night? And I did make my picks and predictions for the Elimination Chamber. You can pick them up online, and here's what I picked. I picked the New Cash Republic to win the tag titles from Judgment Day, Becky Lynch to win the Elimination Chamber, Ripley to retain her title, and McIntyre to win the Elimination Chamber. How did that play out? I'll explain the results to you. And there was another match added to the kickoff of the Elimination Chamber up in Perth. It would be the women's tag team titles were on the line as the Kabuki Warriors, as Asuka and Kairi Sane, defending those titles against the team of Candice LeRae and Australia's own Indy Hartwell. How did that match play out? I know if I would have picked that match, I would have picked the Kabuki Warriors to retain, but I will. But that was part of the kickoff. I will tell you the results of that when we come to it. So here we go on the SmackDown, the final SmackDown of. This is going to be a 2-for-1 special, okay? Didn't have time to make a thumbnail for the picks and predictions for the Elimination Chamber, like I usually do, because life's been crazy. So it'll be the whole thing, okay? So it will be the results from last night's SmackDown NXT Level Up and the Elimination Chamber, okay? So just let you know we'll get going on that. LA Knight and Drew McIntyre arrived at the arena, and so did Liv Morgan and Tiffany Stratton, obviously all separately. Bianca Belair was sitting at ringside. She joined the commentary, but she was at ringside for the first matchup. As two Elimination Chamber participants, Liv Morgan went one-on-one with Tiffany Stratton, the SmackDown newcomer, and Tiffany Stratton ended up winning that matchup. Now, be on the lookout for Tiffany Stratton. I think because of her athleticism, not just her beauty, but her athleticism and her skills in the ring, she's going to be the one to watch in 2024. I mean, as far as the main roster goes, we'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, Caleb Braxton interviewed Drew McIntyre about his chances of winning the Elimination Chamber, but Bobby Lashley interrupts McIntyre. Then Cedric Alexander and Ashante the Adonis are forming a tag team. Don't know what the tag team name is going to be. Don't know what the gimmick's going to be. But he's trying different outfits because Ashante the Adonis is more of a fashion plate than anything else. And he's trying to get Cedric Alexander to kind of fit in a little bit. So that team's going to be very interesting to work out. We'll see what happens when the Jimmy Uso is bragging to Roman Reigns about interviewing in Jay's Intercontinental title match this past Monday night on Raw against Gunther. And then Roman Reigns tells Paul Heyman to get Grayson Waller. And so Braun Breaker decided to get ready to make his SmackDown debut as the current NXT Tag Team Champion. Went one-on-one with Dante Chen, who became history for being the first Singaporean to make debut on SmackDown. But Braun Breaker ended up winning the matchup. and Caleb Braxton interviewed the Judgment Day, and the Judgment Day said they'll be dominant in their retain the tag team titles against the New Catch Republic. Cruz del Toro and Rocky Wild were talking about Santos Escobar, but Electro Lopez, who used to be a member of Legado del Fantasma, alongside Del Toro and Wild and Santos Escobar, confronted them, and then Angel and Roberto attacked them, and Escobar even taunts them in the end, but then Carlitos and Lena Vega and officials chased them away, and that would lead to a street fight between Carlito and Santos Escobar. The New Catch Republic, the team of Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, took on JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio, and Bate and Dunne did end up winning the matchup, but then they decided to go after Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Dakota Kai seemingly have been helped to the back by Nick Aldis and a referee into the trainer's room. It claims that she was attacked by Damage Control, Io Sky, and the Kabuki Warriors. There's something going on there. So, Street Profits went in a tag match against the Authors of Pain, their first match back since being back in the WWE. And then the Authors of Pain won due to the Karrion Kross attacking Lashley at ringside. And so AOP, they got the victory over Street Profits. Bayley and Dakota Kai were talking in the trainer's room, saying, I got your back and everything else. And that will lead to a tag team matchup next week on SmackDown as they face the Kabuki Warriors in a tag match, non-title. So, Dakota Kai has a history of stabbing people in the back. First, as Tegan Knox, as Raquel Rodriguez. Trust me on this one. I got a hunch. There's a documentary of Rhea Ripley in Australia as she makes her return home. She probably visited family and friends and taking the scenery in. And then Roman Reigns talks to Grayson Waller. We don't know what, but however, we'll find out what's going on. And Bobby Lashley was getting checked out, and then McIntyre tells him, I will pray for you. Oh boy. Meanwhile, LA Knight and Drew McIntyre were fighting one-on-one, and then Logan Paul joins on commentary, and so does Kevin Owens, and those two were jaw-jacking. And then all six-man brawl to end the show as McIntyre won by disqualification, and then Orton was the only one left in that ring standing tall. Carmen Petrovic, and this is the NXT Level Up Women's Action, 2 matches on the card. Carmen Petrovic took on Brinley Reese, and Petrovic did pick up the victory, battle newcomers, so be on the lookout for those two ladies making a mark in the NXT Women's Division, while Hank Walker and Tank Ledger took on Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe, and DuPont and Igwe won the matchup over, that upstart team won over the match of Walker and Ledger. Well, that's SmackDown NXT Level Up. Now, it's the Elimination Chamber, and here's the kickoff. Women's tag team titles were on the line as the Kabuki Warriors defending, like I said, against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Now, I did make a prediction, even though this doesn't count, that the Kabuki Warriors, I wouldn't be surprised they retain. They did. So they did, and so that means they'll have to focus their. The Kabuki Warriors did retain, much to the disappointment of Indy Hartwell and her home country of Australia. And then the Elimination Chamber officially kicked off with the Women's Elimination Chamber matchup as Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch and Naomi started off, and Tiffany Stratton was showing out. And I think she was a lot of these ladies really worked hard. Now, Raquel Rodriguez came back from 3 months, and I saw her post on Instagram. My goodness. And I'm glad that she's back and getting better. And and she really showed her. But Tiffany Stratton, man, listen, you can have the personality, it can fool you. Don't let the personality and the beauty fool you. The woman can go. She is a gymnast and went flying through the air, did a swanton. I'll tell you one thing. I think she really impressed a lot. So much so that the people in Australia were cheering for her, and they booed Liv Morgan when she eliminated him. I'm like, wow, they really like Tiffany Stratton. And I'll tell you one thing right now. Tiffany's probably going to be grateful for that. So that was the Australian, the crowd in Australian the Australian crowd was just on fire. I mean, and I know, tell me these foreign crowds, man, they're totally into it. That's and they're totally invested into wrestling. And you got to give them a lot of credit, man. You got to give them a lot of credit. This is totally cool. And then the tag team titles were on the line. The Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest, defends against the New Catch Republic. Like I said, that's their new name of Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Heck of a matchup. And then was Dominic Mysterio got caught cheating and he got ejected from ringside. But despite that, in the end, I did pick the New Catch Republic to win the belts. That did not happen. The Judgment Day retains the titles. The question is, who will be the next tag team to step up against the Judgment Day for those titles? Then Austin Theory introduces Grayson Waller to the Grayson Waller effect. Grayson Waller, who is a native of Australia. People welcomed him back with open arms. And then the guests were Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. But Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins announced that he is close to being medically cleared and he'll be watching the Elimination Chamber match, the men's Elimination Chamber match very, very closely. So I'm surprised he didn't give a shout out to his wife who won the women's Elimination Chamber matchup. That's why I forgot that's right. Becky Lynch ended up winning the elimination. I picked her to win. I think we all did on Rant and Rave, and Becky Lynch ended up winning that matchup. So, but Cody Rhodes had an announcement to make. He's challenged The Rock one-on-one. Like I said, Cody Rhodes versus The Rock is a dream matchup. A battle of generational superstars. Rock's a third generational superstar. Cody's a second generational superstar. So I think Cody Rhodes really wants to test himself against the great one. Well, we'll see what happens if The Rock does accept that challenge. But Theory interrupts Rhodes and Rollins. And then Rollins and Rhodes attack Theory, but Grayson Waller kind of looked, because Austin Theory grabbed the microphone and did all The Rock's catchphrases. And Grayson Waller was like, and then they were both looking at Grayson Waller, and Grayson Waller just stood back. And why did he let Austin Theory? Maybe he didn't want to get booed by his hometown crowd. And, I don't blame Waller. So that could be coming into play here, Waller and Theory. So that. Now we have the men's Elimination Chamber match. Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre and LA Knight started things off. And AJ Styles got involved, attacking LA Knight with a steel chair. I wouldn't be surprised these two gentlemen go out at WrestleMania. And during the matchup, costing LA Knight the match. But in the end, it was between McIntyre and Orton left, and Logan Paul used brass knucks to punch out Randy Orton. Logan Paul, you made a mistake, my friend. Ended up costing Orton the matchup, and I did predict Drew McIntyre to win the matchup on Rant and Rave. McIntyre ends up winning the match. So, Triple H, Paul Levesque came out to address the crowd and thanking them for being welcoming, and announced the first crowd, 52,590 people there. Wow, amazing crowds. Australia, Yeah, so I did say what I was going to do. I planned on watching the Elimination Chamber, not at 5 in the morning, though. No offense, but I decided to watch it, and it was a great pay-per-view. But we're not done yet. The women's world title on the line. Rhea Ripley coming home to a hero's welcome in Australia. Her family was there against Nia Jax. Nobody's challenged Rhea Ripley physically since Charlotte Flair at last year's WrestleMania. These two ladies went at it. And they tried to pull new moves and all that, but in the end, after a riptide, Rhea Ripley retains her title. So the 4 title matches are set. So it will be Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. All right, this is for the Royal Rumble winners, and Bayley will be challenging Io Sky for the championships. Cody Rhodes will challenge Roman for the undisputed Universal title, while the WWE Women's Undisputed title, held by Io Sky, will be challenged by Bayley. Meanwhile, the world titles are on the line also at WrestleMania 40, as Rhea Ripley will defend her women's world title against Becky Lynch, the man, so Mommy versus the man, and Seth Rollins will will be defending his title against Drew McIntyre. That is going to be a big, big deal. Let me tell you, it's going to be a huge, huge deal. So maybe I will have time to set up a thumbnail. Who knows? So that is it. Episode 1229 of Eric Lima Shenanigans in 1977. The SmackDown NXT Level Up for February 23rd, 2023. And the Elimination Chamber results. Elimination Chamber 2024. The last PLE event until WrestleMania. That means March is wide open. So when is the match between Cody Rhodes and The Rock going to happen? Maybe night 1 of WrestleMania? Who knows for sure. So, up next, episode 1230, the AEW Rampage. And then also, we're going to give you the results of TNA's No Surrender that happened on Friday as well. So, that's all there is. That's all there is. So, I'll see you guys later. Until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode. This is your announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, doing for Bob Saget Productions, and in association with a Raven Bofa Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Goodbye for now.